Terry Lynn Dubreuil, you know. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree. I took master's courses. I didn't finish my master's because at one summer when I could do a residency, it was either do the residency for my master's or travel. So I did that because at that time I happened to be teaching full-time high school. But I've been teaching since the late 80s when my kids were little, and I started doing adult ed and after-school programs, and I thought I really like teaching. I resisted it for a while. My mother was a teacher. She was strictly watercolor, but she also taught at the university and did all sorts of things, handcrafts, oils, drawing. And recently, last time I was in Europe, I had a small set of watercolors with me and pastels because those are the easiest things to travel with. And I'm painting with pastels one day, and I thought, this just makes me happy, you know? Watercolors seem like a little work, but pastels are just the freshness of that medium, and you can treat it like watercolor. You can make it thicker, almost so it looks like oil, and so I took off with that. And during COVID, I had moved down here because my daughter had moved, and I thought, she doesn't have a network. I should go down to help support her. You know? Got down here and needed a part-time job, you know, a little extra income, because I was just getting into the arts community here. Was at Biltmore in the winery, did tours. I like that because it was the closest I could be to being in France because you get the castle, you know, you get the, I'm like, okay, wine, I can do this. Then COVID hit and I thought, what am I going to do? I mean, I had a feeling it was going to be a while, as many of us did. So I thought, well, I've always wanted to make videos, teaching videos, like on YouTube. So I started doing it. You know, I set up a camera. My first one's like, I talk like this and you turn away and then the audio doesn't work. So when I'm making a good video, not this one, but I put my earbuds in so it doesn't matter where, if I walk around the room to get something. So that got going and I got involved in an international teachers group. And that has really helped me. And pastels is a smaller community than say watercolor or oil. And it's been beneficial to me, and great people. I think people that work with their hands in soil, like gardeners, clay people. I've always had wonderful relationships with clay people. And this, I mean, we don't have a brush. You can use a brush, you know, with pastels and charcoal, but we don't usually. It's directly, we're touching earth with our hands. And I love that, getting dirty a little bit. My mother passed this last summer. She was almost 97. I did some paintings when I went up to Maine. I did some paintings of her to help me process all of that. And I found myself, as I'm painting, doing these very sketchy marks that started to indicate to me that transition between life and the next life. So like she was tattering and kind of shredding and falling apart. One of those paintings got first place in a huge international show, which just blew me away. And I was just like, I just painted this for me. But that shows sometimes that I still get chills. That's bizarre. It was funny because I got the email, like, you won first. I'm like, what? And I was like, oh my God, you know. And then I thought, I got to call my mom, you know, to tell her.
She knew already.
Yeah, she did. She probably helped, you know. And I think by putting emotions into our artwork and putting ourselves into it, that touches other people. There's a great oil painter that I watch a lot of. He's great YouTube videos. His name is Brian Rutenberg. I'll write it down if you're interested. But he has all these little one-liners that he uses. And one of them, and he's a young guy out of New York, originally from South Carolina. He says, everything's been done, but not by you. Right? So if we look at other people and like, I can't paint like that, I can't do that, you know, well, you're not supposed to. That's why there's realistic art and impressionistic art and abstract art, and just keep playing and playing and playing if you want to do art until you find your voice. It's just and you have to work through so many things. Yes, take classes, take workshops. Drawing, I think, is a vital foundation for the arts, and a lot of people skip over that. I don't know why, but it helps you a lot in the future. And I think this is a short class. This is like 8 hours. That's not long to start from almost nothing to, we'll be able to do some houses. We'll do a still life. You'll hate it, but that's okay. It's a good exercise. And a lot of people expressed interest in maybe doing a little portrait or animal portraits. It's it's overwhelming. No, it's not. Because once we get through, we'll start with line, we'll go to 3-dimensional shapes, we'll do some shading, and then you take those 3-dimensional shapes, your cubes, your spheres, put them together, connect them with some contour lines, boom, you've got whatever you want to draw. You got to get the proportions and stuff right. But, yeah, but that's okay too. That's enough about me. I have opted, what I often did is I had like a slideshow that I would show people, these are things you can do with that. But you've looked at drawings, you know what you can do. I want to get you drawing. That's the best thing. I try to cover a lot very quickly. Originally, this started out as, it's a semester-long course that I turned into a 10-week course for adult ed, and then I kept cutting things out, you know, to try to keep it as simple as possible. Pam does 1 month at a time, like, all right, what's priority? How do we approach this? And we can get this going. And we're all creative. I mean, you say you don't feel artsy, but we all have a creative spirit, and we just need to find the venue that works best for us. Again, drawing is great to start. It's a foundation for all the arts. Even if you're doing pottery or something, you know, if you need to design it, you need to know how to draw it and how it's going to work. It helps painting faces. I understand that. I am fascinated by portraiture because you have the form, you have the person, make it look like them, then you have the expression and emotion on top of that, and it's fascinating. Yeah. It's a lot, but it's so fascinating. Yeah. There's some tricks for that. Let's get going then, I guess, right? Mm-hmm. Supplies. A textured paper, not textured, but you know, a good drawing paper has a tooth to it. Tooth is just that texture you feel when you touch it. If you touch the tabletop, you feel how smooth that is, and then you touch the paper, you can feel the tooth to the paper. And I just go, that's very smooth. That's pretty smooth. The smoother ones work really best with graphite.
Oh, very smooth. She's got the good stuff.
The other side is
let's see the other side. And you can use either side. This feels like, do you mind if I do something?
No.
Okay, on her paper, if I go over it, you can see there's somewhat of a mechanical texture to it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, because it's a charcoal pad.
Because of this charcoal pad, this type of paper. And so you can almost see the lines going back and forth. And that's how you can see the lines when you blend it. And that's great, but that is going to usually show up in your drawing, that texture. And the other side is smoother. So see, we're already learning about papers. Most of these papers are about, 90 pounds? Does it say how much?
65 pounds.
65. What this means, if you have a full sheet of paper, which is usually about this size, and you have 100 sheets of that, which is a ream, that it's going to weigh 65 pounds, 100 pounds. There's watercolor paper that's quite thick. That's a 300-pound weight. So that's what that number means. It's how thick or thin the paper is. Cardstock is, I don't know, it's thicker. Maybe 120 or something. No, I think it's more than 8. And I don't know. I shouldn't say these things if I don't know. Something to look up, as teachers do. We have 2 basic, in this class, drawing implements. Graphite, which a lot of people call lead, but it's not, because we know that lead is poisonous. So it's gone to graphite, and you can get it in a pencil, as many of you have. The ebony pencils, I think, are very good. This one is Cretacolor, It, as you see, there's no wood on the outside, so it's all graphite. That's kind of nice. You can sharpen it with, I like these metal sharpeners. I've had this for so many years, I said before, it's starting to rust. I don't even know how. You can replace the blades, or you can buy a new one. How wasteful is that, right? Well, we'll just buy a new one. It also, graphite comes in thicker sticks if you want. Many of you don't have this. This happens to be graphite. How can I tell the difference between the graphite and the charcoal? Graphite tends to get shiny. It's got a shiny surface to it. Let's see if I can. Nope, that is charcoal. My bad. It's got a coating on it. But see how black and dark and like soft velvety that is? And this, no matter how much I press it and how dark I go, it's never going to get to that black. Like
And that is the,
This is the graphite.
Graphite
The
is-
graphite is the silvery one,
It's
the gray one. So if you're looking to get rice black in your drawings, the pencil, the graphite's not going to do it. But as you see too, charcoal gets very dirty, messy. I always have microfiber rags with me, especially when I get into the charcoal, and then you can just wipe your hand on it so it doesn't get too messy. I also carry in my kit a little fingernail brush. So, if I have to go out after, I can at least clean my hands. Because it gets under your fingernails. So that's graphite. The best eraser for graphite is usually this is a gum eraser. Just G-U-M, gum eraser, and art eraser sometimes. I simplified your supplies. I'm just looking to see what you have. So you don't have to do this. It breaks easily, so you can get a sharp edge if you want to get details, as opposed to the kneaded eraser. And that's kneaded as like kneading dough, K-N-E-A-D-I-N-G, kneaded eraser. So if you're sitting, this is a nice thing to do to keep your eraser pliable, and it's also therapeutic. It's just kind of nice to do.
that's what I thought you were doing it for, like,
For therapy, because she's nervous up there. Now, it keeps it soft, and if you pull it, mine's older. Yeah, sometimes it'll stretch out really long when it's new. Different brands do different things.
This one is gonna make it.
What one? Yeah, Faber-Castell. You want me to write that down? But, you don't have to. Faber-Castell. And sometimes the whole thing, may I borrow it just for, it's pretty big. So I'll often take half of it, and that's usually enough to work with. And you can see when it's fresh and new, it stretches, and this is softest, nice texture in the middle when you do this. When you use it, after you've used it, and the charcoal's in there, you can see mine's used quite a bit more. For some reason, when you manipulate it, the charcoal disappears.
Oh.
And I haven't figured out microscopically if it goes floating off into the air and falls to the ground, or just disappears by magic. Possibly it. So this will work for either. This is my little sketch thing. I just bring it along. For charcoal, because we don't have graphite, charcoal comes in different forms. One of my favorite forms is vine or willow charcoal. It's so versatile. It does a lot of different things. And if I take a vine charcoal, what vine and willow charcoal is, like this one, if you look at it, I'm going to hand this around, you can see that it was a twig. You can see, and if you look at the end of it, you can see the rings of the wood in it. And they put it into a kiln and pressure burn it in a sense, so it doesn't burn it up, it burns through it. This is wonderful because when we go to shade, you can just blend it and get some really nice blending with the vine charcoal. If you have a compressed charcoal, You can see I'm already getting dirty. This is that black, black, black.
This is hers.
This also
Pass it around, yeah.
blends nicely,
Who's there?
so you can get good variation. We get dirty, so you might want a rag, add a rag for next week. I'm not sure, will we get into shading next week? Maybe. It also comes, charcoal also comes in the pencil form. Trick with a lot of these is we're going to use the softer leads, I'll call them leads, but the softer leads, and it's tricky to sharpen them because the wood is often harder than the charcoal, and you have to do it very carefully. Sometimes if you get a pen knife or an X-Acto knife, that, and then you just shave off the wood, that can work as well. So I'm just giving you options here. These are torchons, these are blending sticks, tortillons. It's just like, I blend often with my finger, but sometimes my finger's too big. So this can give me a point, you know, and I can blend down into a point or something. It just, that's kind of a nice extra tool. I have a brush in here just in case I need to lighten something, remove some dust if I want. And this is something extra, but this is an eraser as well. I should send this out, but it's got refillable eraser. I don't want to call them lead, but they're not. But so then if you drawing along and you want to erase something, where your kneaded eraser will erase large areas, this can get down to fine detail. You can also shape this and get fine points if you want for erasing. But it's not, see, it's softer, so it bends some. Yes.
Just a
I
quick
would-
question for that willow stick.
Yeah,
This stuff. How would you sharpen something like that?
I don't.
How do you get, so you don't use it for pointy things? Then
You can, yes. I would get a piece, which I don't have, piece of sandpaper or something. Thank you. Did anybody get that in one of your kits, a little sandpapery thing? But if you don't have that,
I did.
you can, does it have it?
You sure did.
Oh, yeah. So you just take the sand and you just keep it in an angle and turn it until it sharpens to a nice point. So you can do that.
Is that a fine grade salt?
This is
Sandpaper?
It can be fine grain, it can be almost anything you want, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's just, if you're looking to just get it sharp, that would be good. Where am I gonna write this? I'm running out of writing room. You don't need that because it's on my card. HB, if you look at a set of pencils, somebody had a nice
I have
new
one.
set. You will see numbers, usually along the edge, and this will tell you the hardness of the lead. I'll call it lead, whether it's graphite or charcoal or anything. Normally, I encourage everyone using between 4 to 8 B. That's what 4B to 8B. And then you can also see in here, there's an HB. Often here's a 2B. Was that yours? Yeah. I get thinking and teaching, I'm sorry. So your HB will be your middle of the road lead. As you get softer, going this way, it's like, what is this, algebra? What is it when you have the graphing? Remember you had to graph?
Geometry.
Is it geometry, like, you know, here's the plus signs, here's the minus signs over here. And this is harder. So harder if you have 2H, 4H, 8H, da-da, as opposed to 2B, 4B, 8B. So it's softer. So the softer the lead, the darker it is, if you want dark.
Oh, okay.
And the harder the lead, the lighter it is. I'm sorry, let me grab this.
Of course.
Did you have some hearts? I didn't see that.
I don't think so. I just,
There's a 2H.
Okay.
HB.
this was a long time ago I bought those.
It's a nice little, this is a good brand too, pretty good color. So here she has, these are graphite lead, so it's gonna be shiny. Here is her HB. And I'm not pressing too hard, just kind of middle of the road. If I go to 2H, so I'm heading to the harder side, and I try to use the same amount of pressure, you can see it's already lighter. Where if I go to 6B, which is the softer lead, same amount of pressure, and you can just feel it softer as you're using it. So you can use them for different things. I have very few hard pencils. I often will use them for underpainting in watercolor, not underpainting, but you know, my sketching in watercolor before starting because it doesn't show up very much. But don't press down because it can dent the paper and then your water sinks down into the paper. Any questions so far? Somebody ask a question because then I get a chance to breathe. All right. I'm going to kind of probably use graphite today. We won't get too dirty. People don't have rags.
Are the flat ones called something different?
Flat ones.
Flat pieces of charcoal?
Yeah, I know. They're called flat. No. But they often, let's see. Oh, yeah. Compressed charcoal. Is this
different
compressed?
shape of
And
the
this
same
is going to
thing.
be different than the soft charcoal.
What kind is that?
Compressed.
This is a compressed charcoal stick, but it's different from my compressed charcoal stick
I think that's what these are.
because there's so many different brands and so many different approaches. If you get into pastels, oh my gosh, there are so many different ones.
Yeah.
So some brands are better, but starting out, don't spend a lot of money. Start simply, and then you can add on to that as you go along.
I think these are the hard ones.
Yeah, those are Conte, so those are quite hard.
Oh, okay.
It says it's charcoal, but it's between charcoal and graphite. But again, play and play until you find the things that you like. You can almost see in my box what my favorites are. See the vine charcoal? I got a huge amount of vine charcoal there. I like this too, and I often keep them long because if I'm sketching something out, I can shade quickly. Look at that, you know, boom, large area shaded. I can draw, which I often, when I'm sketching things out, I do tangential lines around my object. And it's just, and then here I can easily adjust if I need to find that shape better. And if you look at your masters, they don't worry about all these extra lines. It becomes part of their expression, the way they express coming in. Then you can shade as we go along, do a little blending, shadow, ba-bum, little shadow here. There, apple.
How did you make that so light and it was just pressure, by pressure?
I did a lighter pressure and then I blended it.
Oh,
If you want, you can also, sometimes off to the side, if you want a light area, you can pick up some of this, come over, transfer it like that, and then erase if you need to. So sometimes you can erase highlights, but almost everything will leave a little of the charcoal or graphite in the paper. You can't always get it white again. If you want it super white, it's best to leave it pure paper. All right, everybody's got the papers out. So now, how do we start? Line. We have just straight lines. Lines can be expression. This is hard, right? Can you see my board all right? I try to stand between people. Where's my camera?
Yeah, the camera's kind of in the way, but there's nothing you can do about that, I don't think. Then it's gonna be in front of somebody else. It's gonna be in front of you.
No, I'm fine.
Well, you know, then I'm going to be standing at home. Because I'm right-handed, I'll be standing in front of it, and I probably stood in front of half of this already. Horizontal lines tend to give you the feeling that things are calm. Vertical lines are strength and solidity. Diagonal gives you energy. Wavy lines, every line gives a feeling. Jagged lines, Harry Potter, no, but they express things, and you want to think about that. If I'm doing a sunset, the way you express it with lines can indicate whether it's a quiet, peaceful one, or if you want energy. You know, here's the sunset, some mountains, because we're in the mountains, little sun here, nice and peaceful, but oh no, this sunset is wild, and it's strong, and the clouds are just jagging out there. So the expressiveness of lines is important. You can also, and it doesn't work as well with this, I'm going to do it with a piece of charcoal. You can vary your lines. You can make them light and thin, thick and hard. So you can practice, just play with this on your paper. See how light a line you can get with your light touch. Or press down, get a stronger line. You can also get a twisted line. I'm just twisting the end of the stick. I'll press harder here, lift lighter here, so it almost disappears. What a fascinating line that is. And I wasn't thinking, I wasn't controlling it. You could see I was holding the charcoal back. I wasn't holding it like I'm writing. If I use a pencil, so I'll pick up our pencils, yeah. Kind of hold it. How many lefties do we have in here?
Maybe that's why I never learned how to draw, because I hate the schmear. You know?
Schmear. Yes, now if you're a lefty, okay, I got a thought here. I had a man in my class, and I was teaching them to draw. They got to the point of drawing the hands. This is like week 9 and 10. And I have a way of approaching it. And I'm like, okay, now set your hand down, look at it and draw it. Look at it and draw it. Because I thought they all have the hand. They could. I went around to him, and he had such a hard time. I'm like, what? Because I said, look at your left hand while you're doing
Poor guy.
So he's looking at his left hand, and then he's trying to draw what he'd seen. And so now I say the opposite hand. Your notebook here, you're left-handed. This is getting in your way. Flip
Turn it
it
upside
around,
down.
or start in the back, go backwards. Do the Leonardo
Never
da
even thought about
Vinci thing,
that. Yeah.
right?
Wow.
I have a sketchbook that I use a lot, and if I turn the page and I want to use the back side because I'm using pen and ink, I just turn it upside down so that spiral isn't in my way.
Yeah.
But the spiral ones are good. These they've become detached, this paper, because you can't really fold it back, you know. So you often just rip it off. So variety of lines, then shapes. Now we're going into shapes. No questions yet? We're doing well. Still with the graphite. What are our basic shapes? 2-dimensional shapes.
Oh, circle.
Circle. How do you draw a circle? Go ahead, try drawing a circle. Circle. Oh, that's really hard. You know, because it's hard to make it round. You get step back, hold the pencil so you're relaxed, like this way or this way you can. And you're going to get your body involved. If we just do our hand, there's not much flexibility there. Where if we back off, we have more flexibility. If you notice, it's not just my fingers moving. I'm kind of moving my whole arm.
Oh yeah, that does work.
Oh, wow.
And I will draw a circle, especially in the air. I am resting my fingers on the paper until I feel like, it looks about right. Yeah, it's not exact, but if I do it a few times, then you can choose the best lines of those with your contour. Contour just means outline. Oh, I've had coffee again, guys. If you've had my class before, I get drawing. It's like, why can't I get a straight line here? And then you get a pretty good circle that way.
Yeah.
Here's another thing, a straight line, physiologically, our bodies, if you need to draw a straight line down this way, try that, a straight line down, straight down the paper. Well, that's not bad. Or straight across isn't as bad. But it's tricky. This is not how our body works very well. The easiest way for us to draw a straight line is at this angle, right? It's kind of a diagonal because this is the fulcrum of our arm and we're moving this way. So we lay it down, our paper, and tilt the paper. You can move the paper. I can't because I'm on this board. And then just get it so it's a comfortable place. Boom, straight line. Not perfectly straight, but that's good. If it's not perfectly straight, then it's expressing you. That's coming out of your body, your energy. I think that's wonderful. Oh, look, I've got balls rolling down the hill. So try to pay attention to your body mechanics as you're doing this. You wait, there's math in art too, so you know, just get it.
Can I get a better look at you holding your pencil?
Oh, wait.
Okay, all
I
right.
don't like that.
I did not see that at all. Okay.
I don't know.
Fingers? That?
You can point on it.
Higher on your pencil.
Not too high up. No, back up.
Where do you put your fingers, on the paper? Where are they? Okay.
I'm not pointing on this, because then your index finger is trying to control it. I just kind of, so it's,
Okay.
all my hand is just kind of holding it. Yeah, very relaxed, very nice. You're very back off on your, so you're not up on the tip. If you're up on the tip, it's going to tighten your drawing. You want to kind of relax. We do want to draw a little bigger. This poor one gentleman, I had them have the big paper, you know, like this. And every time I got over to him, he had this little tiny drawing like this big. He'd sit there and he'd draw. I'm like, fill the paper. So we have it for, and it's more expressive, and we can have, it just feels more creative. All right, I keep getting off tangents, so you keep me on track. We have circle. What's the next basic shape? Square. See, I wanted to do, this is tricky, so if I turn the paper a little bit, I can very easily, with that natural direction in my hand, make a nice little square.
You need about turning the paper. Like if I'm getting ready to draw this.
Right, see, if you just try to hold it right here, it gets awkward.
Get
But
your
if you
hand to
turn it
not-
so-
Yeah, because I
that
want to
angle.
Yes, down with my
Okay.
index. But it's amazing.
Does it make sense?
It opens you up. It's not
Yeah.
easy.
I mean, just turn it at whatever angle it's gonna be turned.
Okay, and
So
then when I want
it's-
to do
it's
this
gonna be-
line, I would go.
Yes.
Okay. I
Yeah,
get you.
actually it's a little angled, I don't know which. And the next shape is triangle. See, I don't try to draw, I draw the triangle with this one. This is awkward. So I'll tilt the paper so I can get this nice, that same directional, to just kind of get a triangle. My phone is, I don't know what time it is. Yeah,
10:48.
thank you. If you let me know when it's about 11:48, that would be
Same thing
great.
with the binder. I mean, I've been
So,
left-handed all
Terry
my
Lynn,
life.
Yes, ma'am.
will we have access to this?
I can give you access to this. What I do is I take it back, I edit, I edit
Okay.
out a lot of stuff, and then I put it on YouTube and send you the link.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's just
Good.
unique. Unique, let's put it that way.
Yeah, and the more you can back off, if you look at, oh gosh, there's a picture of Matisse drawing at the end of his life. Have you seen it? He has a stick that's 20 feet long with a piece of charcoal on the end, and he's sitting in his
Wow.
bed, and he's drawing on that. loosen up, enjoy it. This is for writing. This is for art. You know, use your body and your whole arm. Enjoy it. And you can see already, the bigger the paper, the better.
Yeah.
But starting out, it's good. I'll bring in my sketchbook and stuff next week. So, out of these basic shapes, we can now draw anything.
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can. Did I get, it's not. I sent out more of these. This is just a start. You have one? You've taken notes on it.
Yeah, there it is.
I didn't,
Oh, I think we all have them.
I've got this.
I got one.
Oh,
I didn't,
okay.
okay.
Is
Can I
that the
see a
same
colored
one?
one? Yes.
I don't have
Wait.
a colored one.
No,
Oh,
you have
right there,
Yeah,
okay.
the original one.
You have the original one.
You got
You,
there.
well, you sent us that link, and I just printed it from my,
Okay.
didn't I?
That's fine. I adjusted it yesterday.
Okay.
So yes, that's the original one. If you printed it, ooh. No, am I right?
This is whatever you sent us. I said to my printer, print, and that's what.
No, this is the right one. This is from yesterday. Okay, because I had other pictures before and I changed them up a little bit. When you, if you get it in on the email, if you notice on like the second page, once we get to this point, I have taken some of these basic shapes so you can see them superimposed over a photograph.
That's cool. That is cool.
And but let's start with some simple shapes first, and then a little later this morning we can try this, and then you can go home and.
Is that on the purple crayon page where you have those other drawings, or?
It's from
Where's your email?
Your
I sent
website?
an email
Your website?
yesterday.
Oh, I might not have seen
Yeah.
I apologize. I usually try to send things out 5 to 7 days ahead of time, and I just got back here from Maine 3 days ago, 3 months in Maine. No excuse, I still should have sent it.
It's probably there, I probably just.
It came, I got it yesterday afternoon, I think.
Yeah, and I,
No, it's fine.
but for this week, like when I finish the video, I'll also send notes, I'll maybe send some sheets. Is there anyone who does not have a printer available to them?
Yeah, I don't have.
Why would you?
Mine ran out of ink because I was printing these, but I've got ink coming today.
I will try to print at least a couple up. I usually try to have a little handful. All right, apple. Oh, let me say something else while we're here too. I think of these things as I go along. You're welcome to answer, please, if there's people that need to call or something. Just maybe step out back, or if you need to.
It's not me, is it?
I don't know. It's not-
No, it's not me.
Coming from that direction.
Show again how, show again the hand.
Turn it off.
I just kind of hold it lightly.
Okay. The
Yeah.
finger wants, the index finger wants.
The finger
go
wants to
on top.
point on it, and
Yeah.
that tightens it up.
Right, no, and
This way
I'm
you-
a tight person, so I understand, so
Loosen
that's,
up.
I know, I'm working
I'm
on
gonna
it.
bring wine.
I'm
I'm
working
gonna
on
bring
it.
some wine out.
And it's
Yeah.
harder with the wood graphite. 'Cause
That
you
is
gotta get-
true. Yeah, you have to get up on the
You
tip.
gotta get a little higher at our angle,
It's okay.
Huh.
because hers is all graphite.
Uh-huh,
Yeah, you can see that
uh-huh.
the
Yeah.
exposed part is a lot bigger. Or sharpen it so more of it is exposed.
Yeah.
Good point. Thank you, Kim.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Yeah.
Okay,
Feeling
So just,
weird.
you know, instead of lying it down like this, you can have it hold it up a little higher.
hold it.
My granddaughter bought me this. They went on a cruise, and this is what she brought back.
It's beautiful.
I'm trying to see.
Be careful.
I can't believe we do that. I know, that's what I was gonna say. I can't believe we do that charcoal.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Might as well use up the paper, right? So. Apple, nice and easy. Let's draw an apple. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. Drawing this way, perpendicular. If I think how I can expose this. I have a photo of this, which is great. If I sit here and I try to draw a circle,
Yeah.
okay, That looks like a circle to me.
Yeah.
I hold it up, it's an oval. Because of the perspective. You can see that when you look at, I'm looking for like some tape or something. I'll use this.
Let me know if you want any of this.
All right.
Okay, I was gonna try the back side.
This is a cylinder, which we get to next week. We'll get cylinder. So a cylinder straight on is a circle. But as you tilt it, it becomes more oblong, right? More of an ellipse. Until at eye height, it's a straight line.
Yeah.
So we'll deal with that later. But that's the same thing, that if I want to draw a circle, if I'm looking at it straight on, it's going to be more accurate. Where if my paper is lying down on a table like this, it's going to affect the drawing. Hence, an easel. It's tricky with the smaller things. There are some, and you're welcome to use these if you want. You know, little portable easels over here, table easels. Maybe next week or something if you want to try that. I'm too energetic. I need something stronger when I'm doing it. So standing up is a good thing because you have a better view. Let's draw an apple.
For the back and the legs.
Yeah.
Do you have a suggestion for what we should be using right now?
Right
Just
now
the
we're
graphite?
sticking with graphite if
Which-
possible. One of your softer graphites.
Graphite?
What?
Is this graphite?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, right.
Ebony.
If you put them side by side, remember the
Oh,
graphite gets
right.
kind of shiny, as opposed to if you pick up a charcoal, this happens to you.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen so much with the.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, standing up is good as stretching. When I go out plein air
Yeah.
pastel painting, there are special little trays that you can put your pastels. I see more people lose those when the wind comes up or
Yeah.
something like. I set my box on the ground, but it also helps keep me in shape because
Yeah.
you go to get your pastel, you have to like stretch up, reach down, pick up your pastel.
Good idea.
I know. People are like, why are you doing that? I'm like, because if you're standing there,
Don't have time for yoga, so it works.
yeah, you get stiff.
Really.
All right. So apple, and we're not really thinking three-dimensionally right now. We're just looking at lines. So you can see the little indent in the top. How would you portray that little indent?
An inverted triangle?
Kind of, it's just a soft little kind of curve, maybe? Like a soft V or something? Right? Does that kind of look like that?
Yeah.
Now, to make this look more like an apple, we can also vary the line. Remember we talked about the variabilities of the line, light and dark? So where your light is coming from is near the top. So I would probably do kind of lighter near the top, and as the line comes around, make it heavier and darker like that. And that, without even shading anything, indicates shade and value and shadows just by the weight of that line. If you want, you can also use your little kneaded eraser to kind of lighten it even more. Now we're getting into lost and found edges. Lost and found edges are big things in art. Like the edge looks like it's going around. Here's this contour line, but actually it almost disappears up here. It makes it more interesting. Instead of just, I'm going to put a stem on now. Let's see. Darker, a little lighter, a little lighter. There's my little stem. No shading, no shading. It's hard to resist, isn't it? This is more interesting. This is not a great apple. Let me draw another one.
That's good.
As opposed to a perfect, same weight all the way across, everything's the same. By varying that line, it makes it more interesting drawing. If you get a chance, look at the masters and see how they do lighter lines, darker lines. Da Vinci, Picasso went through a series where he did very similar lines. almost anything. If you go on Google and you're searching for something, watch your search. I taught high school for 20 years. I had to teach research papers and everything. You can come up with some really poor artwork. It's best to draw from life. The next step down is from your own photographs, a good photograph. But photos can lie to us, just to let you know. They see things differently than the eye does. And drawing from someone else's work can get you into a lot of trouble. Oftentimes they've already made mistakes that you're just going to intensify as you draw. Unless it's a master. It's kind of good to, try copying the masters. So just, that's a little aside. All right, notice the next apple. It's got a different shape. So it's kind of, instead of just a circle, maybe it's a larger circle at the top and a smaller circle at the bottom because it's a red delicious. Notice how I keep it light at this stage. Just I'm indicating the, two circles intersecting. And then I can add in my contour lines. Come around here, there. And things in nature are irregular. If you make them too regular, they're not going to be interesting. Sometimes it's what we call little soldiers. If you're doing a fence or something and the fence is the same all the way across, it's boring. Where if you do some areas darker, lighter, angle it, it's going to be more interesting in your drawing. You guys are good. Good, nice. Get the little bumps at the bottom. Yeah, yes. It is fun to see what other people do too. Go ahead, look at your other purpose. You're not cheating. You can look. Everybody's a little different. All we're doing is doing a circle to make it look like an apple. And look how different the expressions are in this room. We all have a different touch. The pear, am I going too fast? Just play along. Okay. Obviously, I'm going to use this one. Larger sphere at the bottom, kind of a smaller one at the top. The leaf, how would you do the leaf?
Oval.
You can use an oval, that's a good idea. Little oval. Try to make it in the right proportion to the pear. It's not quite as big as the whole pear, but it's good size. And then you can do your contour lines. And remember to turn your paper if you have to. Again, for your curve, this is an awkward curve for me, this bottom curve. So if I had a chance, I would turn the paper to do a nice smooth curve that follows the physiology of my body. Same with the leaf. Vary the line, try not to make it the same all the way through.
If you're doing that all with the same pencil, just varying
The pressure. So if you do a very light, barely touch it, you're going to have a light line. And if you press down, you're going to have a darker, thicker line. Nice. You're like, artists, everybody's doing a great job. You're not talented, you can't do stuff. Yes.
I think it's hard to.
You're too tight.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Back off. Yeah, try to back off a little bit. I know, and you're drawing small, so.
Draw bigger.
You can see why I use a larger paper, because you get more of the body involved. And just play with it and have fun. I'm living a vagabond life at this point. I'm half here and half in Maine, and I have a lot of things in storage. And I got down here the other day and realized I'm teaching a drawing course. Guess what I don't have? Drawing paper. I mean, I have my sketchbooks, but they're only this big. I needed the big drawing paper, and my friend, who she had some, so she's like,
It's like you have a point and mine ends up being like a shading instead of a point. You know?
No, mine was too, no, mine's too.
Yeah, okay.
yeah. See? Fun.
I see your shapes, that's really helpful to see that.
I like this. This is a great thing to do as well. Just keep playing with it. The more we work with it. Do you remember when we were young in elementary school and we had to learn how to write letters? I mean, we're thinking way back, some of us. So. I don't mean to include you in that. But, how many times did the teacher have us repeat A? Remember, you do that for like days at a time, it seemed. So the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. Transfer the video if I don't have a 2-hour-long video to go. All right. And let it be expressive. Don't get uptight. Kind of makes it boring. Very nice. May I? These are very nice. Look at that hair. It's very nice hair. Nice. Very nice. I like this one. Right, now down here it feels like it's awkward. Did you turn the paper to get that curve? Yeah, you can see that maybe that would. Because that is awkward, and that's why it's getting that like sketchy look down here. Or if you turn the paper so you can just do this curve like that. Do you know what I mean? And then turn it so you can get this nice. So it's following that natural fulcrum of your wrist. Really nice. Now you can see how you can take our 3 basic shapes, circle, square, and triangle. I mean, you sometimes reshape them a little bit. I mean, an oval's a type of a circle. A rectangle is a kind of an elongated square. If you had to draw this, oh good grief, this, which you could do, right? That whole shelving area. You've got a big square, then you've got small rectangles and little rectangles on top. You can do that because it's not a bookshelf with boxes. It's just squares, rectangles. Eventually you end up doing that with a person. People think, oh, I can't draw a person. Well, no, just look at it. I mean, when we get 3-dimensionally, it's better. But oval, triangle. All right, grapes. What are we going to start with?
Circles.
Let's look at the overall shape. Start large, work small.
Triangle.
Yeah. Start large. Try to get a sense of the largest shape possible. And it's not a perfect triangle, you know, it's just rough. Proportions. How wide is it to how long it is? It's about double, so there's my top 1, 2, it's about that long. And I've done it lightly, so that's just my overall form. I do little asides. You start getting into your work and your face itches.
Yeah.
Try to use the back of your hand. Otherwise you walk out of here and you get left. I took a picture in the last Pastel Society. There's a lady over here, and she had it all over her hands, and it was all over her because she kept like rubbing her nose. We're so used to doing it with our fingers. All right, then once you have that basic shape, then you can come in with the smaller overlapping. Notice how the circles and the grapes overlap. One comes in behind the other, right? So let them overlap. Keep them irregular. They're not all the same size. I don't know what type of grape that is. It looks like Concord. Wednesday I'm doing the Pastel Society in Maine. I'm on the board in two society. I just go crazy. But a couple of years ago we did this wine and watch because I worked at the winery. So we'd hire artists to do a demo, and I would do a quick introduction, 5 minutes, about a wine, and people would go out the week before and buy the wine and get the food pairings I suggested, and then I'd teach them about the different grapes and the different wine, and they love it. So we're doing it again this year. So we're doing Pinot for this one, and this is not a Pinot bunch of grapes. I know that because Pinots look like very tight little pine cones. Oh my gosh, Kim, the wine is fun. I tried the last time I was in Valencia. I kept going to the store trying to see how cheap a wine I could get and still have it be good. €3.50 was okay. €3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Didn't work. Kind of dropped off the edge of it.
Yeah. But still, how about that?
Valencia was the first place I ever saw and touched the Mediterranean Ocean.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, now you can see I'm just kind of overlaying them, nothing really fancy. Then I can come back, and I would like to turn my paper because I want to get that heavier stroke going with my body. And with the paper set up like this, that's not going to happen. You know, I'd have to, I'll do it. Even large paper. Because we're trying to express light and shadow now. Yep. With just line and not shading. My grapes have gotten all ovally. Get our eraser if we want, lighten some highlights on the top side. And then it's tempting not to shade, isn't it? It's like, I want to shade this in. Triangle was our starting large shape. And then moving down into the circles. You really follow the triangle, but this is more accurate to this.
Well, and these pictures are not such that you really see
No.
heavy light on the side of it.
Exactly, no. But this is why pictures are tricky. It's better to have things from life, but yeah.
Well, or pictures that are highly contrast, you know, where you see the,
Yeah.
see the light.
Here you can see some of that highlight on the very top there. A little
I should
darker.
have my
underneath.
glasses, and that was the one thing I
Oh,
left at home.
that's my friend that I'm staying with, I'm renting from her. She just had both cataracts done this last fall, and she would work and work, and she couldn't see the color, and she couldn't see the details, and now she doesn't have to wear glasses, and she said, it's so different. Have you had that done?
Me
Really?
too. It
I had
was-
mine done for distance though, so I still have to wear reading glasses.
That's what happened with her, yeah. So she forgets if she has to pick up glasses to read because she
I
hasn't
have
had
them
to.
all over the house.
It changed my life.
Yeah, me too.
I've worn contacts since I was 13 and
Oh, my
it changed my life.
Yeah,
It was awesome.
yeah. Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, totally.
And you can drive at night.
Yeah.
I mean, added
Color,
bonus.
details, seeing
yeah.
things, yeah.
I still have a hard time driving at night.
But I wasn't saying about
That
you,
was my
Sylvia,
one
I was just-
disappointment.
It just kind of made me think.
But at least it worked.
That
I'll
that's
drive
what
for you, how's
things
that?
So many
really
people
see
say it doesn't
some
work.
detail. And these are very difficult to see. This is just very nice.
Thank you.
Wait, are you the one that's not artistic over here?
Yes.
She's not artistic. Look at these grapes,
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know why? Because she's just doing circles and, she can do circles. She can't draw, but she can do circles.
I like how these are layered there.
You're using a lot of the same weight all over.
Mm-hmm.
You see the, yeah. But now because it's so heavy into that, it's gonna be hard to pick some of it up. But yes, do try.
Mine's too crowded.
Yeah, you're getting a Pinot
Yeah,
bunch in there.
right.
Yeah. Which is partly why it's such a sensitive grape, because it bunches itself so tightly together that it can mildew, it can get sunburned.
Oh, sure.
They tried, at Biltmore, they tried to grow it with their French vintner. He tried for years to grow Pinot. It would not grow in this terroir here.
No, you
It
have to
just-
be in California.
It was either too much rain or not enough, or, I'm
You
sorry?
have to be in California for the good Pinot,
Yeah.
or the Willamette Valley.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it's more consistent. It's cool climate, very consistent. Here you can go anything from freezing to hot within, well, today.
Nice
What was it this morning? Down near freezing, and it's gonna
Yeah.
be in the 60s this afternoon?
Yeah.
Yeah, the tougher grapes like this, like Merlot, Cabernet. Oh, oh.
Kind of cool.
Anybody need a pencil sharpener?
It's slick.
This is
Like it.
pretty nice.
Yeah.
I wanna try it in my, have you tried it with a charcoal?
No.
I'm gonna use less pressure going
Sure.
in. Yeah, it grabs the wood. So you could see it broke it off
I do.
too.
I'm famous for breaking it.
So you have to kind of really feel that. All right, how? Don't you feel kind of like artists, just the way you're holding your pencil?
Freeing.
The what?
It's freeing to hold it like
Freeing,
this.
yeah.
It's sort of,
No,
you know,
it's
like-
frustrating. I'm
Yeah,
frustrated.
I'm frustrated too. My wrist
I
is
keep,
like.
I keep going back. I keep trying to check myself.
Try to keep your hand up in the air. Yeah, she's like, how?
Yeah, right. That's what I'm trying to keep my,
Because we're so used to resting our hand in paper to steady it.
right.
You can, this is tricky too, but this takes a while to get used to,
Anyway,
bracing your
I
hand.
couldn't do that.
But I would just try to hold your hand in the air, and so what if it doesn't come out perfectly?
Well, yeah, but
And you're holding it like writing again.
that's
Move
what's
at the
hard.
top.
That's what's hard for me.
Do like, this is Voldemort. You know how Voldemort holds his wand, right?
Yes.
No, you don't
My
know
kids
it.
were not into Harry Potter, oddly, so I don't know.
He stands there with his wand like it's no big deal. Just soft and relaxed.
This was like upside down.
It's so awkward to me.
Yeah, I like
It's-
it's better that way.
It's new, it's different.
Yeah.
It is. No, no, it's
And
gonna.
practice. All right, the lamp.
Oh, yeah, right.
What? Wait,
I said that
wait.
out-
What
I
is
said
the
that out
lamp?
loud. I said that out loud. didn't I?
Lamp's a square and a triangle.
A square and a triangle? Or,
Ish, or
yeah?
circle.
See, there's different things.
Cylinder and a.
So we do a square. Yeah, we're not doing three-dimensional shapes yet, no cylinders. Okay, so let's say it's a square and a tall skinny
Oh, tall,
triangle.
skinny triangle, okay. And then that little square.
Right, so you have a square and a tall skinny triangle. You can't see it, I know, because I'm doing it lightly. But the base of it, about Below
that one?
the halfway line on this is a big oval, right? Nice and round. So now we come, let's define it, come down, curve out to that oval.
Oops.
This is awkward, this curve here, I would turn my paper around to get this other curve, see, because it's not gonna be the same, I have to turn it over to get the same curve. And a little, I don't know, rectangle for the base, a little rectangle at the base. The hand, this is where it gets tricky because this curve on the left side of that lamp base, as opposed to the, our hand will not do that. We have to turn the paper over to get them to be about the same. You want, if there were a plumb line coming down right through the center of that lamp, you want this widest part of this curve to be the same distance as this one. And you can see mine didn't come out because I have to unattach my paper to detach. Nice. You didn't turn the paper over, did you?
No, I did not.
It becomes obvious when you start seeing it, right? It's like, oh yeah. This is good. You're not getting the roundness because you didn't think circle underneath the bottom of that part.
Got it.
But you can see how just kind of thinking that way, it's going to
Yeah.
help you find
Yeah.
that nice curve. And the base beside it is kind of the opposite. I'm going to ignore the upper lip first because that's just stuck on top. And I've got a triangle, tall, thin triangle. About a third of the way down is a good oval. Let's see, where does that go? Okay. It's good to keep looking at the picture. We tend to look at our drawing more than the picture, and we should be looking at what we're drawing more than
I'm trying
the drawing itself. How's the time?
It is 11:23.
Thanks, Kate.
What do you call the base? A triangle, a square, or what were you calling the base?
Yeah, the base is. Oh, that one? I just
Yeah.
did a little rectangle. For now, when we get into thinking three-dimensionally, that's gonna change. But for now, we're just thinking the simple shapes. I've done this type of approach down to, let's see, actually, I've had first graders draw faces.
Wow.
And
Cindy did today, she started with the oval, and then the triangle.
This one?
off it.
I did the triangle
You did the triangle first.
and then the oval at the top.
Oh, okay.
And try to get the proportion, see how that's a tall, thin, both of them are tall, thin triangles. And the oval just helps give you that curve at the top. Okay, Valerie's out, she shaded.
I thought it was just a bunch of different pressured lines.
Just-
It turned into shading.
They aren't shading, it's different pressure lines. I love it. I'm teasing you. Oh no, she's blushing now.
Then,
And then a straight line and you attach that to the.
Turn your paper over.
Mhm.
She says, okay.
I've done
I
it.
hear you.
I mean,
Okay.
you know, I'm just such
I know. No, I'm just,
inept at what I'm
No,
doing.
no.
It's just, I just need to play an awful lot. Play may not be the right word you want to use.
play is a perfect word. Artist, why do we say, what are you working on? What's your recent work? I'm like, what have you been playing with? What's your recent play? Let's have fun with it. Because if we make it into work, we tighten up, our self-expression goes away. We try to do performance and make it look good because who's good? I still constantly fight with that voice behind me like, is somebody gonna like this? Is this gonna be good enough for somebody? Who cares? Like that painting of my mother, I didn't care. This was for me. Made such a difference. And now I have to still fight to keep that in my head. This is for me. Somebody else likes it. There's always somebody that's not gonna like it, so whatever.
Man, Kate.
Kate's got some nice sketches. This is a nice looking sketchbook already. Look at this.
Ah, nice.
All of you are. I mean, you're filling it up with, this is beautiful.
Can I
This one
just
right here is
make one
really.
observation, I think, that where I just, is everybody moves so much more slowly than I do. So what do you say to me? It looks like the precision, there's precision there, where I'm just doing this.
I do it fast. I don't know.
Well, I mean, but you're doing it for a while. But I mean, you see what I'm doing here. I'm all over the place. But I see how that careful line there? Look how careful people are.
Well, she starts at the beginning, and she's getting a little sketch. Instead of just, like for Eileen, I would say, instead of doing this little sketch, turn the paper to get that comfortable angle. And just in the air, remember how we did with the circle, the in the air, until you feel like that's the right place, and then set it down. Air, do it in the air until you set it down. So, what are you doing?
I'm not sure right now.
Okay, which?
I'm watching Kim, because Kim, do you mind? You're doing it. So
I don't mind at
I
all,
see
but
the emphasis.
wow.
I see the
I would
emphasis.
watch Amy.
I see the
I'm
emphasis
real
on,
loose. I'm real loose. Like
Emphasis on what?
on the shape.
Just do, well, you did the shapes before, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Stop.
I realize it's embarrassing, really.
But you get the idea.
Well, you know, whatever.
Okay, so you're doing this one?
So I need to look at my notes.
So you get the triangle here.
So this is what I'm trying to do. So there, I see so you want me to see the triangle first.
Do you mind if I just
See the triangle first.
see the triangle first?
Okay.
It's a long, thin triangle.
Okay, and you also started at a different place. You started at the bottom.
Well, for me, it's the
Oh.
top. I'm upside down. And then inside of that, you can see
I mean, that's what I was trying to do here.
kind of in here. So
Yeah.
in the air until I'm comfortable with it, lay it down.
Inside the triangle.
Yeah,
Okay, that
the
helps
triangle
me.
is kind of
That.
here.
So that's my first thing.
It's the triangle.
That helps a lot. That right there
Yeah.
helps a lot.
Then when you come up, you can see that you'll just follow that curve.
That's a big
And then
moment
up
for me.
here, there's a little rectangle that, yes, it's a rectangle. That's this here,
Okay.
the neck, but then it's a curve in the rectangle.
Right.
Just a little curve.
Okay.
So, okay, nice.
That one got better.
That is, yeah, see, by practicing. Susan got some good.
good proportion.
Here's a break.
Thank you. Actually, I was listening to you describe what you were doing over here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The in the air thing or something?
Well, something, I don't know, whatever it was, I was
Just-
just
it
sort of
clicked.
following along.
And sometimes it clicks. And anytime, I'm available by email all the time. But, you know, I might not get immediately back to you, but I'm usually pretty good. Any questions, please let me know. I have shouldn't say a ton of YouTube videos. I've got over 100 YouTube videos.
And again, where do we find them here?
If you go to the Traveling Artista, that's my website. Everything links into that. My Instagram, my Facebook, my YouTube, my Patreon. I have a Patreon group. And if you get to the YouTube, you can go to playlists and search drawing. Don't overwhelm yourself yet.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
maybe after this class is done, it's a good time to.
Fun. I'm so sorry. I pushed Elena against the table. So sorry.
So you're doing fine. Relax. Okay. You're still tight on your pencil. Can you back off a little bit? I know it's hard. Yeah. It's like, when you're batting, or you say choke up on the bat, it's kind of the thing. Where do we hold the pencil where it's going to work? That's for us.
That shape at the bottom of the
Kate over here looks like an architectural.
Like mine is. This one's a little stubbier.
She's got architectural drawings going on.
Yeah.
I have a friend who is an architect for his whole career. He's the president of the
Yeah.
Pastel Society.
I do too.
And
I
he,
love the base.
For years, would not put buildings in his paintings. He's just starting to put buildings in his paintings. Because he wanted to get away from them, and he wanted to learn the landscapes and things.
So you didn't shoot that base.
You know what, doing it
Or
bigger,
like a
because I
really
looked at
small
yours and I thought,
oval.
how big is that? Oh,
I didn't.
Yeah.
The base
Like a
on
hat,
this
like
one,
it's
small, like it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
cheated,
yeah.
yeah, no, because that's three-dimensional thinking, we're trying to keep it 2D. So I just put a flat base, and then I just kind of angled down to it. That's like this little rectangle up here at the top,
Yeah.
the neck, it's off-center, this should not be, that should be there. So I make a little rectangle at the top there, and then I just add in those, it's a curved line on top of that. The shapes become our guides, and then we can do the contour lines to flesh it out. That's the word I want. I can see the advantages to a watch now, especially when I do so much recording on my phone.
Yeah.
And you can interact with your phone too. It's 11:32 now.
Okay. Yeah, my daughter, she's a manager for a business, and a cleaning business, so she does it from, and she's doing more and more on her watch.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be able to stop
could
and
do
start
it,
it as you
yeah.
do it.
Wow.
She gave me an old watch, but the thing I needed it to do was broken on it. That's why she gave it to me, because that probably was like, but that's what I wanted for. So someday, I do have my AirPod Pros, which I think are invaluable. When I'm teaching online through Zoom, again, I have my camera there, I turn around, my voice will fade when I turn around. With those on, I can hear them, and I can be anywhere in the room, and the volume stays the same.
My hearing aids are like that. I forgot to put them in today, but it's such an amazing thing. You
Yeah.
just walk around and
My mother had trouble. I mean, we should just get you some AirPod Pros and
yeah,
turn your phone
see
on.
if it works. Yeah,
It's cheaper than those
I know, for God's
hearing
sake.
aids. Gosh.
They are outrageous.
Yeah. But I use them, when I'm driving, listen to audiobooks. I
Yeah.
can talk to people. When she was still alive, I would let her talk for an hour because she was
Yeah.
lonely. And
That's wonderful.
I got a new tip from my Apple Pencil today. If you guys have iPads,
Mm.
they have little silicone tips you can go over, and it gives you more of a tactile response with your iPad.
Interesting.
Which is great on an app. There's an app called, everything starts with P.
Yeah.
Procreate.
Those days are over.
Procreate, I use it a lot because my students will send me paintings and stuff, and I can put it in there, and I can like sketch over or change values or colors or stuff. But you can also do full digital paintings on it, which is kind of fun. Ooh.
I seem to be in my expressive mode.
I like that. Can I show? Look at this one. She's dancing. This little vase is dancing. She's like.
Ooh, yeah.
Now, because you kept it at this angle while you tried to do that back curve. Is that right? Did you tilt it over?
No.
And if you had, do you mind if I? if you had drawn, here's your, I see your triangle, inside that triangle, if you had drawn that oval, then you would have come up this line to that oval, up this line to that oval. You see? What's next?
House.
I haven't gotten to the damn.
Yes, on the
Vase.
house, I'm gonna borrow Sue's, as I said again, on this, in the color, this sheet, the second house has lines on it. So it helps you see where you're going, as well as this chair. Yes, it's in perspective, but don't think perspective at this point. We're just thinking lines and the angles of these lines. Here's the cat, you know, you've got a circle and an oval and some rectangles and triangles, boom. Then you connect them and you have a cat. I even took a picture of my car yesterday, so you can try the car.
Oh, you
She
can
comes
have them.
prepared.
Sure.
House. Yeah, so it doesn't show up on, sorry Sylvia, it doesn't show up the red lines on this. But if you do the house, don't try to do the whole house. Choose one section. Let's say the porch section. I'm gonna make it a little bigger here. Turn the paper so you get that nice line going off. Notice I even turned my body so that this line works this way for me. How long is it compared to how high? I'm not including the roof on this. This is just that porch rectangle right there. So there's that porch. That is just this little dark porch area right there. There's that rectangle for that. Then if I try to simplify the next section, it's not quite as long. It's kind of another. It is longer than that. It's another rectangle. You can see I have taken you way back to the basics, right? If anybody's taken drawing before, you know this is. But it's good to get back there. I do it myself. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna limit myself today to just 2D shapes and line. It's good exercise. The roof is about as high, not quite as high as the porch, so I'm measuring from the base of the porch to that eaves, and then from that to the top of the roof. It's almost as big, but not quite. So you can see I'm comparing those heights. And then it's just a straight line across.
That's the roof line.
That's the roof line. Of that L area.
Yeah.
And then here, do you know how to find the middle of a rectangle or a square?
Oh, the
Corner
Ah,
to corner,
okay.
there's your center right there. And when we put things in perspective, that's gonna help you, because you start putting that side of that house in perspective, it's going off into the distance. How do you know where the peak of the roof is? Because it's different in perspective. So by connecting those two, boy, I can't even do that. That's where the peak of the roof would go. So that it helps us in so many ways. So you divide it, it goes up, it's higher than that other roof. I just put a little dot where the peak of the roof is gonna be. And I can do this again. And now my triangles just come down. Connect that. This connects over to here. And I can't see the left side of the house. I don't know what it's doing.
It actually is angling off. So
It is,
that-
there's actually a little, yeah. It's very slight, isn't it? It's a little sliver of that. So what I'm gonna ignore that. And then halfway down here, there's another little triangle for that second roof. So there's our very basic shape of the house. And then we can add in some windows. I wanted to get some angular shapes, because what we've worked it up to now is mostly curvilinear shapes. You really have to feel it with the charcoal pencil.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Like you're feeling where the wood is getting shaved off.
Yeah,
That came out okay though.
I always feel it catch.
Yeah, these are great because you can take them anywhere and stuff.
I always,
But when you're doing a very sensitive pencil and then the
Yeah.
tip breaks off and you're
and you
like,
can't get it out.
I mean, I've gone through half a pencil
Yeah.
trying to get it sharp. It's so frustrating. So oftentimes I'll just take a utility knife or something and shave
That's
it
a
off.
really good idea.
Now it's just shapes. Don't get worried about house, right? It's just shapes. Basically squares and triangles at this point.
I did your little line, because I thought maybe it helped me.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see a sliver of that, and that's throwing it off, definitely. Then, once you get going and practicing this, you say like, okay, if this is my base, you start measuring, how high is this compared to the base? And that's where you get your measurement. It's like 1, and it's an estimated measurement. We're not getting the ruler out here. We're saying, okay, that's about half as high as it is long, or that's 2/3 as it is long. Yeah, that's a pretty straight on house. The ones I took yesterday, I went around the neighborhood yesterday, trying to get the house as straight on as I could. So these two are fairly straight on if you get to practicing those. But don't worry about them. I mean, you can see there's a long rectangle, and about halfway, half of it's the garage and half is the house. Don't
Yeah.
come.
Yeah.
And then you dissect that to find the peak. This goes straight out. This you just have,
There
so
is.
break it down. Start with the bigger shapes, middle shapes, smaller shapes. Work up. I had to, because both of these were on hills, so when you take it with your camera, it does the perspective
Yeah.
thing. But there is a correction in your edit on your camera where you
Oh,
can.
really?
Really? Oh, yeah, you can do this.
Yes, you can do that, and you can do it sideways as well.
Oh, cool. I'll
I'm
look
sure.
for that. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to have to do all of this in our heads. These little machines that we have are phenomenal. You can take a color picture and go, what are the values of this? How do I do that? You take a picture of whatever you're painting, you go into edit, you take out all the saturation, and you get your grays,
Wow.
and it
Yeah.
shows you exactly. You could contrast it higher or lower. Wonderful tools. We used to have those little pieces of red cellophane. Did you ever see artists with those little pieces?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah.
People still have those. I'm like, why? You got it on your phone now.
Yeah,
I mean, if you have grandchildren or anything, my phone's always in my pocket.
of course.
My pockets have chapstick and phone
Yep,
marks on it. It's just,
that's the important stuff.
that's how it is. Nice. Good. Yeah, everybody, you're seeing that little sliver of the house, and I'm sorry about that. I would kind of ignore that, but it is there.
The one that so I'm just trying to.
Is
do
that,
the
you're
basic
doing this
shapes.
side?
But yeah,
Yep.
just that side.
Yeah.
Oh, this was really fun.
Yeah, this little window, is that under the peak? It's not centered under the peak of that house, is it?
No, it's slightly off.
It is
Oh, there's
slightly off.
round things on the
yeah.
top too.
Yeah. Other way, your hand's gonna curve the other way.
Yeah.
It is off. There's something off with this house. Yeah, if we, I'm trying to see, is this all of this part?
Well, see, that's the thing,
So
Yeah, I
if you
see.
do it right here, the whole length, and all I'm doing is this to, that's why in color you can see the lines. Here you can't see the lines, I'm sorry.
oh, so this line should be over here.
And then I can say, okay, here, and there's the edge of the house. This is just about halfway. So that gives us already the proportion of, not the
Oh.
roof, I'm ignoring the roof, I'm going just first story. Which is about right, but then
But
these
this
two
should be
windows
over
are
here.
about halfway,
This line should be here.
or even here even. It's almost halfway. If we measured there, but it is halfway.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Because of the weight of the value, like this is darker than this, we see this as more important. But if we kind of measure, we can see, yeah, that's halfway from this edge of the house to that edge of the house. So sometimes in preparation, we have to ignore certain things. Oh, nice.
Solid.
You,
It's my paper. Yeah.
it's partly your paper, but also
I'm
you
doing
started
heavy.
with the closer drawing.
Mm-hmm.
So you could
Oh,
put,
right.
you're leaning your hand down. So if you're doing a large drawing, it's best to start, if you're right-handed, upper right-hand
Yeah.
corner and work this way, especially with your shading. Otherwise, you're gonna get your hand in it. If you shade down here and then you come up here, yeah, you walk away with full body graphite.
You don't have to, you happen to have printouts of the others, do you?
That's okay. No, but I can bring them next week. I'll make a note.
No worries.
Mary Ellen is 11:48.
I'm gonna look over your shoulder. Cause I don't have. Oh, please use it. Oh, goodness. I'm kinda like overwhelmed at this point, so I kinda need to stop.
Yeah, sometimes we hit a saturation.
Yeah.
That's why 2 hours is about enough. I had,
Well, I'm just, you get that I have some kind of disability or something. No, it's.
but even,
You must know this as a teacher, if there's some people who just are get to it.
but you're learning the ends in your head, and that's gonna help. So, yeah. But maybe just come down to some measurements and stuff. This house is good.
I'm still kind of
That's
playing
about
around with these long rectangles, but this is where I think Kim is looking at something else.
Yeah,
I
and as
think.
Sylvia was saying, this, it looks like this part is more important because it's darker.
Right.
But if you measure from this side to this side, that's
This is-
right in the middle.
You see that now?
Yeah.
This triangle, this rectangle's a little shorter, isn't it? On that house.
It's,
It's just.
oh, on this one? Yeah, you gotta get that close. The base rectangle is, I kind of did that.
course, that was kind of set back.
It is set back, and that's making it appear smaller, you're right, so the base of that's a little further back, and then you've got the steps up to the deck, or the porch, whatever, so that makes it seem even smaller.
Yeah.
But get the overall large shape first, and then come into those details.
10 minutes.
So, next week, thank you. We're gonna head into 3 dimensions. Yeah, this is 2-dimensional drawing. You're doing great, and you can see that, but practice this week. Get some pictures. Get a magazine or something, and take a red marker or something, and do what basic shape would you use over that,
That's a great idea.
right? Like I did with the cat on the
Yeah.
second page there. And then try just as simple as you can with the shapes to understand that, and the proportions. Is that the Faber-Castell? Yeah,
Somebody get me the bigger man.
she
Very
did.
nice.
Isn't that,
I'm
did
in
you?
a 4-pack, so why not?
This came, you guys gotta feel this. This came with her kit.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
goodness.
I know,
Hard as
it's
a
like,
rock.
well, how would you even use, is it sticky?
Yeah.
But it's hard, feel how,
It doesn't have a wrapper on it, does it?
no, I don't know, but it's,
got stale.
did it come with a wrapper on it, Sylvia?
Oh, God, it's hard as a rock.
Did it come with a wrapper on it?
That's
Yeah.
weird.
Isn't that odd?
Maybe it was exposed to a heat.
Oh, that's hard as a rock. I mean,
Yeah.
that had a wrapper on it too.
Is this Faber-Castell?
No, it's General.
General's okay. General's kind of middle of the road. Is this a General as well?
I don't know.
I think that's at
was-
Cheap Pete's. Is that what it
Cheap
is? Cheap
Joe.
Joe.
Cheap shows.
That's all they had.
Yeah, the
was-
yeah. I know,
Because they're cheap after all.
yeah. The, when we started some of these classes, we did it online. It was during COVID. And Pam asked me, because I was one of the few that had some technical knowledge, you know. So I had to go to Amazon and find things. But around here, Amazon's fast.
You think?
It's a couple of days, because there's like,
Built a big warehouse.
it's about 20 minutes away. But
Yeah.
you go to Maine, where I am in Maine, it takes 4 to 6 days for something to come.
I mean, in the San Francisco Bay Area, it'll be that afternoon. My niece ordered something in San Rafael and it showed up that afternoon. I'm going,
Wow. Do you want to keep this? No. This is what I would do with this. Sometimes I wonder if it even erases. Does it erase?
Yeah, you can use it like a plastic eraser.
And then you kind of start using it like one of those school erasers.
yeah,
But it's
they
sticky.
just did the wrong formula.
Yeah.
It's been hanging around.
But then they trick the people, oh, that's that type of, it looks like it
Yeah.
in the package. You think,
Right.
that's what I need. Any questions?
So the things you think we should bring for next week are just the microfiber towel.
I would bring the towel, bring your sketchbooks, your little, bring some, let's see. We'll start with wait, do I have somebody's pencil? I have somebody's pencil. No,
It's claiming
it's not mine.
it. She puts it down.
It was there, I don't know where it came from. We will work with graphite again next week, because it's easier to see the forms that way. And then the following week is when we get into the shading, when we get really dirty and stuff.
Yay.
But, yeah, so
Might not even need the towel next week then.
not really,
Okay.
yeah. I just keep it at height, it's all right, we're relaxed, come on in.
You are.
Try to practice, take a picture of it if you're asking, like, what am I having trouble with? Take a
Yeah.
picture of it and
Okay.
email it to me.
That's nice to know.
Yeah,